What if we recorded in a local card game store?
I thought about that. I was thinking like, what
Keep
if
it
what after we have like 12-year-olds coming over to us and they're like, hey, can I tell you my 20-cent Pokemon card that I spent $400 to get?
Who was that kid that came up to you and was like, you have any Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
Yeah, he came up to me like 3 times. He like kept forgetting. I was like, kid, there's no way you haven't developed object permanence. You know what Yu-Gi-Oh cards are. You know what the cards in your deck are. So you should recognize me as a non-Yu-Gi-Oh player that you keep asking for cards.
Didn't he ask you to buy him a pack?
Yeah, I think he said like, I don't have money on me right now. Could you buy me a pack?
And this guy was like 10 or 12.
At most. The thing is, the store was running kids events for Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I think that he may have been a part of that, like the summer camp. And then he was just like, but you know what? I'm not a Pokemon player. I'm a real gamer. Buy me some Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
He was trying to sell you a water enchantress and was like, this is a $25 card. You should buy it from me.
Was he? Here, this is getting back to my theory. When somebody approaches me, I don't trust them. When I approach somebody, I trust them because I know I can overwhelm a stranger. But
that's so bad, man.
But the moment I have some grifter roll up to me, some 10-year-old, some slick back hair,
up to your
some
knees.
high hair gel, some Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh player, I'm like, this guy's a scammer. But the moment I say, hey, there's a lonely guy in the corner. He doesn't have any friends. He might be new to Digimon. Why don't I sell him some BT4 cards, some unopened packs with curled foils, and I'll say, I'll give you a discount, $10 a pack.
So you're comfortable scamming others, but you're not comfortable being scammed.
No, I'm just comfortable with the idea that I'll be able to scam others if I approach them.
If need be.
If need be. If whatever the circumstance may require, I'm ready. But the moment they've come up to me, they've had preparation. They've stacked the deck. They've been rookie weaving.
I don't understand the concept of like, I'm gonna stack my deck, and then I'm gonna shuffle it. So therefore, it's not stacked.
It's called cheat. Hold on. You're expressing I don't understand why people cheat.
But it doesn't even make sense from a base.
I'm learning right now why Jeremiah doesn't win locals because he's the only one of us not cheating. I'm out here scamming kids, selling them bad decks for $150 a piece. You're out here Noah stacks a deck every tournament.
I don't want this to
He stacks a deck and he pile shuffles.
I don't want this to be out there in the world.
And then he says, Judge, could you give me a deck check? And they look at it and they say, well, there's no curve. Welcome to the Errata. This is Ian.
This is Jeremiah.
I'm Noah.
I don't like this pattern.
Okay, fine. I'll say, this is Noah.
Well, it's just
coming at you.
All right, coming at you next week. We were supposed to talk about something. I think at this point, we'll just keep vibing because I'm going to accept that I might sound dumb here. Is there cheating in Hearthstone tournaments? Like, is there a method to cheat?
In live Hearthstone tournaments, like the big ones,
yeah,
they're there in person on iPads that they've been given or computers, and they're doing it in front of everyone. So I would say no. I think I remember some sort of controversy about cheating, but that might have been when they're playing from home.
Yeah, I would assume that there was like we have this in Street Fighter where like there's ways that you can mess. But I mean, Street Fighter is because you're messing with your reaction times, but also there's different online formats where it's like playing online. You could. This is so unrelated to cards. In Street Fighter 5, I think you could increase the lag that your opponent experienced by hitting more buttons, even if they did nothing in the game. So when your opponent was comboing you, if you mashed your controller, you would increase their lag that they would get variably.
So you have like a freaking panic attack.
Yeah, you panic. You start mashing on your controller, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my god, he turned on the Wi-Fi switch." It was like it was the easiest to access lag switch that you had.
I wish I could do that in cards. Just stop my opponent from thinking and doing their plays just by like convulsing.
Well,
I mean that would work.
Well, see, that's what I do. I'm like, listen, I'm playing security control. I'm taking your time, so I immediately go. It's your turn. I'm asking questions. I'm saying, what does that card do? What inheritable is that? Let me see that card.
I need a time to think. I can't think.
It's wild because I have been accused, falsely accused. I'm the hero of the story.
I know where this is going. It is not a false accusation.
I've been falsely accused of stalling because I play. I love the game. I love Digimon. I love many card games. I want to play the full hour. I'm here for it.
I'm about that.
Exactly.
50 minutes.
Well, I'm gonna play for an hour.
Don't spend 10 minutes trying to raise your Digimon out.
No, I'm not. I'm not about that.
You do that.
You have done that to me.
It's in friendlies. We're getting off topic.
This is on topic.
In tournament, I have been accused falsely at locals of stalling. But every major tournament I've been to, all one at Gen Con, I had multiple players intentionally go, I know we're running out of time. I am going to sit here as long as I think I can get away with it to run down the clock and end the game without you getting your last turn. Because Digimon goes, time's up. Now we both are going to get 2 turns each, and then the game state's over. And they were like, let me intentionally prevent you from getting your second turn by running out the clock.
Well, 2 turns are 5 minutes.
Yes, but the thing is, listen, these are aggro decks that are taking like the rest of the match. They're supposed to be taking like 30 seconds a turn.
It's a hard gameplay turning.
But then that's exactly it. They're like, do I raise out? Do I turn sideways? And I'm like, Judge, could you come over here? And this is the thing. I'm worried about the Digi-Police. So I called them over. I say, the cops are here. They're my friends. And I say, come over
I've
here.
never felt that way.
So I said, come over here and please help me. And then the judge takes 3 minutes to get to me. And then he's like, there's 30 seconds on the clock. I'm like, what the fuck is your job? Get over here and extend the time.
Yeah.
You should be rushing over, running as
I will
fast
say,
as possible.
when we bring it up, we're not accusing you of stalling. We're just accusing you of slow playing. And I know technically they're the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying you're trying to stall. I'm saying you're taking too long to do your turns. I remember we were playing a draft format. I think it was BT12.
God, I missed draft.
And you had, I think, 4 Hunter's Tamers in the back with the start of main phase effect.
Yeah.
And after about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, it felt long because I was just sitting there.
I
You
do
said,
remember this.
I'm going to raise up. And I said, what? I've been waiting 5 minutes for you to raise up? And then you're like, time to do start of main phase effects. And that was another 5 minutes easy.
Okay, no, that is okay. I will acknowledge. Here's the truth. I don't look into most sets before they come out. So once a set comes out, I'm looking at all these cards for the first time live with you, and I am relying on my friendships allowing me to do that because I want to sort of see the cards and have them unveiled to me and be like, again, almost like a pack opening experience.
Yeah.
As I'm seeing these cards, but that means when I'm in a pre-release or if I'm in like the first match of a set, I'm like, damn, I don't know what all my triggers are. I gotta like reread and like look back, and then when I search 5 cards from my top of my deck, I'm gonna be like, fuck, I gotta read all 5 of them.
See, you and I are different because I'll look at cards as soon as they get revealed, and I'm so excited about them. And then when someone plays against me, I'm like, what does that card do?
You just forget.
It's interesting that you say that because when I first started playing the game, I did not want to look ahead at any sets, mostly because I thought it took out the enjoyment of opening packs. Because once you know what all the cards do, you know that this is all bulk and chaff.
Well, you don't even like opening packs right now.
Yeah, currently I do not like opening packs. Oh, I mean, I do enjoy opening packs.
You're a store credit enjoyer.
I am. It's just every time I open the packs, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm so rarely satisfied with a pack opening.
Have you noticed that there's been a recurring pattern where Noah says, I have the worst pack luck, I have the worst draw luck, I have the worst life luck. Everything goes bad for Noah, apparently.
That is my life. Thank you for acknowledging
He
that.
has high expectations.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
I know that it's hard to believe. That's why I bring people in. I say, you look at my hand right now.
Oh.
You watch me play.
I've seen him play.
I have people. It's not just a bias. I have people watch me do it.
It is a bias. It's a selection bias.
I have other people watch me.
I know, but you brought them in because you already saw your bad hand.
No. I bring them in before I start the game.
So what?
He'll show me his
That's
hand
cheating.
while
That's
we're
coaches.
No, and not in friendlies.
Oh, interesting. Now
You're the one against coaching in friendlies, bro.
I'm actually very pro coaching in almost all tournaments.
You just did it to me, and I didn't want
Well,
it.
that's exactly it. Is that the issue is when I coach Jeremiah, I have to play his deck for him because he exactly like with the before set. He reads the cards, he puts them down, he forgets what they do. The issue is this guy is this is memento. This guy, every time he picks up his card, it's the first time he's ever seen them.
Ian coaching Jeremiah is Ian taking Jeremiah's cards out of his hand and playing the game for him. That's his coaching.
Well, because I watch him play and I'm like, you're doing it wrong. Let me do it.
You gotta let people, like, you gotta let your toddler run into the wall before they know how to, like,
what I like to do with
What are you
Jeremiah...
doing with toddlers?
What I like to do with Jeremiah is make a mental note because I actually have a memory.
Yeah.
And afterwards I say, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you did this wrong, you did that wrong.
You guys have such issues with how I play the game, but I pull off some good plays, and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know he
You
was so
do
good.
every once in a while. I'm like, nice, you made the correct play.
He actually drew on Digivolve.
Yeah, but it's just so often that I think, why did you make that play? And then you explain it to me, and I get your mindset, but I also think it was the incorrect choice.
I think the difference is, Jeremiah, you're playing the game, and we're playing to win.
That's fair.
I think I also get confused about
Easily.
I
Everything.
get confused very easily. when I play card games,
Sure.
I try to relate them and like understand flows of the game between each other, but they just often don't line up very well. Like with my experience between Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh,
Well,
Magic, and stuff.
I will give you that. I mean, like we talked about it before, but the reality is you have played more card games than probably me and Noah combined.
For sure.
And I think that is...
I'm not good at any of them.
Well, no, you're awful at all of them. Everyone I've seen, I've been, wow, this guy has put a lot of time, sweat, and money into this game to be so bad at it.
I brought up how you have a competitive spirit, and then Ian's like, "You're the competitive
I
one."
do think you're the competitive one.
And that's true. I'm not saying...
He's competitive, you're the competitor.
Yeah,
You compete more often.
But
I get your point.
I remember really noticing when we played Pocket Paragons
Yes.
in Indiana, and you would get so upset, and like you were legitimately
You were
hurt
angry.
and angry after we would play, and I
was so bad.
Yeah, but you would be like, you'd lose the match, and you'd say, how? How am I so bad? You said, there's 6 cards in my deck, and I don't know how to play them. And I was like, read your cards.
Yeah, but Pocket Paragons is a different beast.
Pocket Paragons is the perfect game.
It's a fantastic game.
it's a fighting
that
game.
really
It's
that is.
Street Fighter 5, and then I'm mashing my buttons. I'm spiking my
I should
Wi-Fi.
just start throwing cards at you while you're doing your you're revealing your card. I'm just throwing 5 others out there to try to lag you out.
You have the need to win, but you also don't want to win. It's such a weird, confusing emotion that you have when you play games.
Like the worst
Well, no,
person
I
to
actually
hang
think
out
that
with.
this is like actually genuine because within the context of Smash and fighting games, I have been extremely competitive in my life, and I've done quite well at those. So I've definitely focused myself and competed at a higher level. And Noah, within the context of Digimon, you're competing at the highest level of the 3 of us. And I think that fundamentally, if you want to get better at a game, you can't be that sort of a loser because like losing is a natural process towards winning, and if you are going to lose regularly, you have to be able to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's natural for the person who's done the least competition of the 3 of us to probably trend towards being saltiest about losing. I've lost so many thousands of games of video games or card games or whatever you want to say in my life, and I think unfortunately I'm used to losing. And I think that's what the main thing that helps me win later.
Yeah, because the tilt can be so detrimental, and being numb to it because you've lost so much, it helps a lot.
I will say more than I would say me or Noah. I think that you especially like to have the art on your card look like what you want to be. Like you want a big muscle guy who's punching in, and like listen, I get that we sort of joke around me having like undead aesthetic or like edgy aesthetic. But at the end of the day, if the deck plays the style that I want and doesn't have that aesthetic, I'll move on. I've got no problem.
Yeah.
I've got no problem playing a fairy deck. In fact, I'm often excited to play fairy decks.
I mean, ideally, I want to be playing fire cards, but man, do I hate
Fire-
red decks.
Red decks are boring.
Yeah.
But my point is, I think that you struggle to leave that aesthetic behind. You definitely like want to play the deck that looks cool,
Yeah.
regardless of the mechanics,
Yeah.
and regardless of like anything else. Whereas like I want to play my mechanics that I think are interesting. And I would say, Noah, I think you're the least tied to mechanic of the 3 of us and the least tied to aesthetic. But you definitely want to play better, stronger decks.
It's so weird because I enjoy different mechanics, so I like to try different things. But it's not, when I look at a deck, it's not about looking at the mechanic. It's just, I have to play the deck, and if it feels good to me, it feels good to me.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times decks feel bad, even though they're like the top deck, and I say, I'm not playing this deck. I can't. But when the deck clicks, it feels amazing.
Yeah, of course.
And
I said this to you the other day, or not the other day, an hour ago. I say it every day of my life. Every time I go back to Purple Hybrids, I go, man, this deck is 7 sets old. It's 7 full sets ago. But every time I go back to it, I'm like, this feels so fun. The method of playing this deck is so cool, which is why I say I'm attached to mechanics. But if I find, that idea, that Purple Hybrid of BT14 that's meta relevant, I would be right with you.
Yeah.
Finding a good deck that suits your mechanics, it's Christmas in July.
Well, I can definitely name a lot of mechanics that I enjoy. Like hybrid mechanic,
We're all hybrid lovers.
Yeah,
It's shocking because BT7 is my least favorite. No, that's not true. BT9 is.
BT9 is the worst.
BT9
and BT10.
Yeah, so like Digimon came out with BT9, so OTK focused, really just made the game so much more simplified,
Solitaire
uninteractive,
decks.
solitaire, and like it was an unfortunate experience. But the thing is when I look at BT7, before we had the context of BT9, I felt that BT7 was the non-interactive deck, because Tamers, our version of artifacts or enchantments, had almost no interaction in the game.
Omnimon's Zwart?
Oh yeah, sure.
Defeat was the only, and I guess they printed Lucemon Chaos Mode.
Sure.
But there were 2 cards that were expensive.
And color restricted.
Yeah.
And color restricted, yeah.
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 The big one.
And that was the only way to
also
deal with
didn't have
Tamers.
Flame Hellscythe or sorry, not Flame Hellscythe, Massamon to just bring out Lucemon for free, which is huge. Like that's big reason why.
Tamers were going on the board and they were staying there 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Almost no Tamers were being deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that like when we get down to it, Digimon fundamentally wanted to have non-interactive areas of the board. We had breeding, which was non-interactive. We had tamers, which for a large part were non-interactive. We had hands, which were non-interactive. There was no Thoughtseize in Digimon for most of its life, and even now it's so expensive in order to do it.
Is it just Mirage?
Yeah, it's burst mode.
It's Mirage Burst mode.
Yeah.
That's another thing, by the way.
Ravemon as well.
Shine Greymon is my example of like a deck that aesthetically I like, but gameplay wise is not enjoyable for what I want to do, and that was a frustrating experience because I think the concept of Digimon where like all the tamers are just little kids crying there not doing anything, and Marcus is that guy who's like, you know what, I'll fight with you.
I'm going in.
I'm punching Digimon. I think that's hilarious. Aesthetically, that's great. It was yellow, so I was having a lot of fun with that. I always like Shine Greymon looked cool.
Sure.
But then it turned into this like red OTK deck that just like.
Well, I think that's the issue.
Like
there was an era of Digimon card design where the way they were making decks different was they were turning it more OTK, more solitaire, and it's a relatively recent change back. Like right, like I feel like
I think
BT 12, 13 I think was pretty good.
Yeah, the problem is that BT9 was bad to us, but a lot of people enjoyed it.
Yeah,
that was the hype.
People like playing their cards.
I'll say it again. You're not a bad person if you like BT9, but you're probably a bad player. I think that still, the moment you say every deck is going to play the same, regardless of color, our mechanics are going to matter less, it's going to be all OTK solitaire focus, I think it allows players who don't understand the game as much, who don't want to think about their opponents or what they could do, it allows them to be able to get some wins.
Look at you playing purple.
Sure.
And you love the meticulous technical gameplay of putting cards in your trash, setting up for later
of
turns,
drawing 8 cards, of course.
Drawing 8 cards, setting up your trash, using that mechanic to your benefit, and then they make Belphemon.
Yeah.
Which is
it makes me mad. I can't even talk about
Well,
it.
you can say it.
It's just when I see people talk about how blue or red is, like how easy to pilot it is and how simple it is, but then to turn around and say Belphemon is different. It's a purple deck, so you have to be really smart to play it, and you have to think it through. And then they hit me with Astamon turn 2 to go into sleep mode, put Rage under, completely immune to effects.
Yeah, what a wild card to print. Cannot be affected by your opponent's effects.
Yeah.
Not Digimon effects or option effects. It's everything.
All effects. It's don't look at this card because you can't touch it.
Yeah.
And then it turns into something that just wipes you in the head, like it just beats you up.
Exactly.
Yeah, and even if you have raid, it says, oh, but also quickly, by the way, trash 2 cards to end an attack.
Which sets up your win con, which by the way is the best of blue and red. It's Sec Plus and Unsuspend. So you're doing all my life in that turn.
That card came out in BT 13, so
yeah.
It came out in BT 13. It was, at the very least, it was set up, and it was set up on board. I wasn't sitting and raising and building the perfect OTK stack for the entire game.
You made the board you're raising.
Is it the different? Yeah, it's the same concept.
I think it is still a better use, and I think that like we played more with the mechanics of the game. You often did have to make yourself vulnerable at some points, but I'm not going to deny. Listen, I was there in set 5. I joined in set 5 when set 6 came out. They released Titamon, and Titamon is just bad Belphemon. Like we can accept that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like him so much better
Because you enjoy him because he's less cracked.
He's also a big, strong, smashy.
Oh, I forgot he is also a big, strong guy.
Strong, smashy guy. That's my.
I mean, Rage Mode's big, strong, smashy guy. His alt art is him picking up a building. That's strong, man.
That's a strong boy. But he's an animal.
You like ogres better?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I've seen Shrek 2 so many times.
This
This
guy loves chaotic.
Yeah.
I do love chaotic. Yeah.
I mean, the alt art for Titamon is so cool. It's just this massive monster.
You know, I have 8 of it.
Yeah.
I have 8 Titamon alt arts from BT6, and I have 8 alt art Ogremons.
Well, I think your Ogremon Bashy deck.
Oni, the red ogre.
Ogremon. Yeah.
The red, purple, yellow, white ogre.
The Ogremon deck, again, is something I really like in concept because he's like just this dumb guy with a bone and he just wants to whack
I'm
you with it.
swinging in at
He's
5K
so cool.
and I'm like, I hope,
He's
God,
just
I
some
fucking hope I get to
barbarian.
play next turn.
Yeah, and then I look at the gameplay. I'm like, oh, I'm just beating my opponent like super fast. And
I love that game style though, where it's like low cost swinging in and hoping that you continue the momentum you have. But unfortunately, I feel that it just doesn't stack up to. Well, I'm just gonna wait an extra turn and kill you in one turn.
No, exactly. Saying I have 100% certainty of getting lethal is better than I hope I take out half your life and next turn hope I take out the other half.
Can I say how like interesting it is to go from Rookie Rush being so prevalent, such a simple strategy, and something that I thought was going to be part of Digimon forever,
Sure.
and now it's like not even relevant. Like
I mean,
nothing's doing that.
Ooh, just wait. We got some new promo cards.
Oh God.
We do have good promo cards, but the truth is I think what you're identifying is like Rookie Rush stopped being relevant and Security Control stopped being as relevant, and that's because tribal decks are very efficient, and it kind of encourages you to stick within that package more than we used to ever have.
It's just the cards being more efficient.
They're so
Just
efficient.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating when I play an older deck that I enjoy. For example, Bond of Friendship.
Yeah.
And its base, its bones are strong. It's got a good base.
It's a Skull Greymon.
Yeah, but it's
Strong
not.
bones.
It doesn't have the efficiency that other decks have. So if you don't high roll for a mediocre outcome, then you're getting destroyed by a medium roll for an insane outcome compared to decks now.
I would say that's one of my biggest frustrations that I'm experiencing with Yellow Vaccine right now. Whereas I'm looking at it and I go, if you start with Patamon in hand, the difference in quality of your deck is huge.
It's so crazy.
And God, opening hands being that powerful, it hurts. It really is hard.
I've strongly thought that, like every time I played the card, I thought Patamon required TK on the field to go into your security set to digivolve into a vaccine.
No,
I thought it needed something. No,
No.
it just says that. You
And
just
then
put 'em in.
and then you get a memory back. You say it takes one free mana, sir.
It immediately activates.
Yeah,
That's so
it's-
crazy. It's bizarre how good that
I
is.
think they were doing a good job by not introducing super rare rookies earlier on.
Were there no super rare rookies?
These are the first ones.
Wow, I didn't realize that they were
And
that
it's,
amazing.
it's very clear that they're the first ones.
You know what?
We have
a lot of them
promo
were
rookies.
Just, a lot of them were just alt arts.
I mean, technically, Lucamon was a secret.
Sure, but that we all accept that Lucamon
Is not a
can,
level.
He can only digivolve into one thing. You know what considers him a level 3? Is Anubismon, my boy. He's like the only guy who actually calls that a level 3 card. And maybe Andromon and Cherubi. Okay.
He's a level 3, but he can't go up into level 4s.
That's true.
He also
That-
can't be
that-
placed
that's really
on a
it.
baby,
Right, that as well.
which is
So-
half the reason why you like them.
Exactly. So he's not really a level 3.
No.
That's okay.
But
He's still good. He's still recover 1 for
not
5.
anymore. I don't.
I still run him in Purple Hybrid.
yeah,
I
because you're playing it
respect
for
that.
free.
I
instead
play
of
it for free.
five,
Respect
yeah.
that.
I wish I had 4 of them.
Most decks are not.
Yeah, but the difference in power level because before we were slowly building up to that super rare and you had to work to get there, but now it's you start with it in your opening hand, you go right into it, and that's immediately a huge swing.
Yeah, you're right. Like at the end of the day, I look at like almost every version of the super rare rookies, and like Lugamon, it is if you have the pieces, which is just 2 cards in hand or trash, and it's purple, you know. And it's like okay, you get 4 memory of value just from having this rookie
Yeah.
on turn 2. That is huge. 4 extra mana on turn 2. And when I look at Patamon, same thing. It represents 4 mana. The others are not as efficient, but God, I don't know if you can. If the game can survive 4 mana boost being a norm, and I kind of hope that going forward we don't continue releasing rookies like this.
Who's Black's SR rookie?
Commandramon. It's also very good.
Yeah.
What is the Commandramon effect?
Commandramon searches 5 and grabs a D-Brigade or a Digipolice, but
Okay.
then its inheritable is Decoy on steroids.
Oh, that's right, because it's reverse decoy. It's like you can delete other cards to save this one. It's what Edamon Sukamon does.
Right, and it's not just deletion like Decoy
Oh,
is.
it's removed from battle or
Yeah,
removed from
removed
field.
from field.
That's really good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
You know what? Purple could use that. Give us some bounce protection.
That's what purple needs.
I need the only way for you to kill my on deletion card to delete it. The most upsetting thing in the world to me that somebody could ever utter is exile. If you send my shit to trash.
That's my favorite
I
mechanic.
say I
love
want
exile.
whatever card I'm done using, I should say, "I'll see you later, brother," and I'll put it in my little discard pile. As I look at my hand, I look at my hand and I look at my graveyard and I say, "Wow, my hand is 30 cards."
Well, and so that's why I'm a big fan of decks with removal, big removal, because I started playing card games with Vanguard basically, and the first deck I played was a removal-based red deck, Narukami, where they just calculate how much removal you were doing over the course of the game in order to power up your guys. Yeah. And so I'm a big fan of that, looking at like, oh, the more removal I do, the better I'm.
So yeah, like you were killing their guys. So your kills were stacking your power level.
Exactly.
See, I just love disruption. If you want stuff in your graveyard, I don't want it there.
But here's my issue. You like disruption. You like Digimon Blue, but you don't like instant speed and you don't like counter spells.
I don't.
Which is a wild combination.
Because I like disruption, but I like that it's happening on my turn.
Yeah.
I don't want disruption to be happening on other players' turns because unless it's something that's there on the board. Basically, my fundamental problem is I'm playing the game and just randomly cards are being thrown out from your hand to say, no, don't do this.
Don't do it.
Like I don't play Pocket Paragons and want to lag you out.
Just cards coming from hand and instantly having a huge effect.
Yeah.
I think it's part of my problem with... I love Blue Flare, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But a card coming down for 3, entirely from hand, and attacking for 4.
And it has rush or charge or haste, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then it has sec boost or high damage or whatever you want to call it. The reality is that thing is a monster from hand for 3 mana.
Yep.
That is an insane draw.
And you can account for it. You can say they probably have this counter spell in hand.
Yeah.
But then you get into other things. I'm a Hearthstone player.
I know you are.
You have no agency in Hearthstone. Every single effect that triggers is random. Yeah. It'll say deal 8 damage to a random enemy at the end of turn.
Did you still play when Shudderwalk was it?
No, I did not. I haven't been a Hearthstone player since 2016.
I know you're a Hearthstone player because of the words you say. You say value trade a lot, which I hear all the time from this guy. And then I think more important than value trade is you love persistent damage.
I do.
You hate that our cards. Once I put a card on the field, I'm like, that's my guy. He is who he is forever.
Yeah.
And you're like, why don't I put a couple damage counters on him?
Okay, hear me out. When I was a kid, my favorite card game, like 52 card normal, my favorite card game was War.
Oh,
okay. And I don't know if you know what War is.
Just flipping cards.
Just flipping cards, and whatever one's bigger wins. And I was like, this is so simple. It's the best card game ever.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing with Digimon. It's like, my number bigger, me win. And I think persistent damage is much more interesting.
Let me hit you with a little bit of this. What if instead of my number bigger, I win? What about trash 2 cards from bottom deck 2 cards from trash to survive battle, and then unsuspend, and then swing again, except they can't block you this time.
Oh, Garurumon.
Digimon is always going to have an identity issue because they're like, who are our guys? We like Garurumon, we like Gabumon line, and we like Agumon line. Mm-hmm. And then there's a couple other smatterings that will get some love here or there. But the reality is, we're going to keep going back to those 2 boys. How many Agumons are in the game at this point?
Too many. They just released another. I don't think they've gone a set without releasing an Agumon. It's egregious.
Agumon variant.
Some kind of Agumon variant.
Yeah, I don't worry. I still got my fake Agumon experts.
Did you guys ever... I know you bought a lot of booster boxes. Have you ever opened a case or a carton?
No, is it a carton? Like a milk carton?
Well, that's what they call them in Japan.
Oh, okay,
and I'm used to that because I bought Vanguard cases.
Wait, you bought because you hate cases. You hate boxes. You hate packs.
You've bought one Digimon box your entire career.
And you were still mad about it.
Yeah, but because I think it's coming from my dislike of buying cases in Vanguard, but boy did I like opening cases in Vanguard, because when I pulled the SP rarity of my favorite card, I lost.
I mean, I think that,
and I spent so much money to get it.
Whether we think it's worth it or not, because I think we can all accept that it's not worth it. The reality is, opening a gacha feels good. It's exciting. Yeah. It's upsetting that it feels good because we all know it's bad for it. It's like that's a problem.
Opening the card feels infinitely better than buying the card.
You guys have only opened like a box here, a box there. You get like 3 boxes set. You buy a case or a carton.
It never ends.
You just keep going. It's such a great feeling to be like, all right, box 1, pull. All right, let's go again, and just keep going. Oh,
it's interesting that you say that, because in BT6, that was when I opened 5 boxes for the first time.
Yes.
That was a lot of boxes. And around box 3, I started losing the excitement I got from opening packs. I think so too.
I think third box is like a hard cap.
Yeah, and since then, I've slowly started buying less and less boxes, because you do lose the enjoyability of opening packs.
You get less excited about the cards that come out of the packs until you see your hits. The hits are what matters, and you get hyped about.
I think the truth of the matter is that like if
it's
you,
also just fun to open the pack.
it is fun to open the pack, but like the delayed gratification is what makes it fun. Like I only enjoy opening a box if I open it and I sort of riffle through like slowly, my 12 cards, and then I get to the back and I go, this is my hit. Is it a hit? Oh no, it's not. I go to the next pack. But if I just go, I'm efficiently opening these packs. I open, look right at the back card, put it back, and just keep doing that for all my packs.
I'm a spreader.
But just buy them. Just buy the cards that you want at that point, because all you're doing is taking away all the enjoyment of opening the packs and just going like, all right, did I get the card? No, throw it away.
But that's what I'm saying. You have to. It's such a weird thing where I agree it's enjoyable, but I have to open it the right way to make it enjoyable. I have to turn it into. I said this experience is not enough, like Genshin Impact. Let me slowly dole out one card. Let me see 9 useless cards so I can see the 10th card. Oh wait, it's also useless. And
I
pay
never
another $10.
I never want to open packs by myself. If I'm gonna buy a box, I'm buying a box with someone else, and we're both gonna open packs.
I think at the end of the day, opening up boxes is always going to be it's bad. It's bad and it's dangerous, but damn, it feels good.
It does. It's really fun, and like I said, guys, you gotta one day
get a case.
When you get a case, it is such a good experience.
That's over $1,000.
This is a terrible message that we are providing to all 2 fans that we're gonna have.
Buy singles.
Buy singles.
Buy singles for sure. But if you need that dopamine and you got the expendable cash,
do you guys remember when did you join the game?
When did I join Digimon?
In BT8.
BT8 was my.
I'm not sure. I think I've mentioned this to you before. In BT6, EX1, and BT7, some amount of those, Digimon was delayed in North America.
That must have been awful.
So what happened is that it released in South America and Europe, and I don't know what was going on in Estonia, but I looked online and I found a website, which I'm not going to shout out because I don't think they deserve the shout out, but they were like, we're selling EU cards, official Digimon cards, for pennies. I got a playset of every card in EX1 for the cost of a single box.
Wow.
And I said, wow, let's take advantage of the crashing Estonian economy in order to ship cards in from overseas. I got them a week later. It was fantastic. I did that for about 3 sets. And then I think eventually they realized that that's what everyone was doing. All of these North American players were shipping in cards. And so they started matching the prices to North American prices.
Oh, man.
Honestly, BT1 to BT8, those were all delayed. Bandai had a serious problem. I think it was a worldwide problem, to be honest.
It was the COVID backlash.
It was shipping issues, but it was not great. It's every single box was being delayed. It was upsetting, for sure.
Well, I'm still, perplexed by the fact we're so far behind Japan right now, but
we're not so far behind.
I guess we're not so far behind, but it feels like we are. I'm interested in how the game would look and how players would react to a simultaneous release, because we've talked about it for a long time.
We've always wanted it. I think that when I introduced the fact to some Magic players that we're several months behind Japan in the exact same card game.
Yeah.
And also they play what is fundamentally a different game. They play best of one.
Yes.
We all agree it's a different game.
Yeah. Yep. But we don't have side decks still.
Oh God, please side decks one day. Anyway, the important thing is we're kind of playing different games. We're getting it slower. We all want it, but you're right. I think sometimes that it may be disconcerting to actually get it. Mm-hmm. We're going to start seeing. We're not actually going to have the forethought of here's how decks are. Here's how they play. Here we can play test them in online formats. Project Drasil, fantastic. Mm-hmm. Tabletop Sim, always consistent for a lot of different games.
Yeah, very good.
But the reality is that there's probably a lot of low-key advantages we get from getting to see the game
for sure
looking forward.
Well, I think about how bad some sets are, and I feel like there's maybe the Japanese side of things. Maybe they get really excited about stuff and then they have to figure out that it's bad, whereas by the time we get it, we're like, I'll skip the set.
But here's the issue. I'll tell you the issue right now. Hitting a card on its release day, or before it becomes an issue, is fundamentally so upsetting. And and that happens for us because Japan tests a card. They say this card's too good. Let's spare the North American players from having to suffer it.
Yeah.
But that's then we don't get to experience it. Then we're playing our ban list is being made off of their decisions.
You don't get the stories We don't
No.
get the memories because we're like, you remember when that happened?
Do you remember?
In
Yeah, like
Japan.
when like Shoutmon was amazing, and
Yeah.
it's like no.
That lasted 2 weeks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I played one tournament when that happened.
Yeah, that was an upsetting time because we did not enjoy, none of us enjoyed BT9.
No, I mean I said it already today, but it was my least favorite set of Digimon, and I
Yep.
think that is the feeling in the room.
And a new set came out, and even though everyone was concerned about this new Tier 0 deck coming out, I would have preferred playing against that than the old BT9 decks that we had already been playing against.
Yeah.
And instead, 2 weeks later, they said, we are going to hit this deck. Welcome back to BT9.
I didn't even get the opportunity to touch Sakuya Maid Mode in my yellow hybrid deck. It was immediately so awful.
Yeah.
And then they hit Sunrise Buster again. I was like, what? They hit Jet Sylphie.
Yeah.
They released Sakuyamon Maid Mode. I'm like, this is fun. I like to do this. I like to play Sunrise Buster. And they're like, now you have one Sunrise Buster too. Good luck, pal. And I go, she's not worth it. I gotta take her out.
Can I say something that has made me a little bit hopeful? I don't want to be too optimistic, but the reality is, even if it's too late and whatever, taking Tommy off the ban list makes me excited that more cards can be removed from the ban list that are no longer problems.
Yeah.
And help bring struggling decks back into the game.
It sets a precedent.
It's a
which
good
is
sign,
nice. Yeah.
for sure.
It's a very good sign because it's like it's not like bans are permanent anymore. Now they are, temporary hits to stabilize metas.
Tommy
Yep.
Kimi. What a guy.
Although, I don't know how confident I am on this Savior Huckmon remaining unbanned. I don't know. Jesmon never really scares me that much, but it's contributing to the Solitaire deck even more.
Oh, for sure. It is definitely like at the time when it came out, we thought this is about as solitaire as we can get.
Yeah.
Which is how wrong,
how
we
wrong
were.
you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of, again, from BT6, I loved BT6, but from BT6 through BT10, because BT10 was BT 9.5,
Yeah.
I felt like the game's getting faster and more solitaire, set over set. And then we hit BT 11 and 12 and 13. Games are feeling more back and forth. The speed is still high, but there's a lot more interaction. And that's why, again, I felt like I was falling off of Digimon, and then they brought me back in.
Well, you know what's great is that BT11 flipped the lid. It was like, all right, BT9 was too fast. Well, now you're dealing with Black War Greymon X, where it's just gonna grind you out, and you're just playing the mirror.
That's how every set goes, right?
There's always going to be a boogeyman,
There's
but
always a- yeah.
It's significantly worse because Japan has that boogeyman.
which is often wrong.
It's so often wrong, but we have months leading up to it where everyone's saying this deck is the end of the world. It's the apocalypse. It's the apocalypse. Yeah.
For the sake of our audience, I do think that it's important for us to say. We referenced it. Why is Japan such a different meta from North America? Because I have my thought. My first thought, my biggest thought, is the impact of being best of one.
Yeah.
Means that, and smaller tournaments in general, means that high roll decks can steamroll.
Say immediately best of one is what I'd suggest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with best of one.
Thank God
But
we
I-
have the same ban list.
I also think that Japan just has a different viewpoint than
Because they never really had security control, right?
No, actually, there's a lot of.
I think I do
Oh, I'm
think
misunderstanding?
I think that originally security control was kind of developed here.
Yeah.
They had kind of similar.
'Cause my theory
decks.
was always that because security control in North America usually didn't finish game 2, I was like, in Japan, maybe they weren't able to finish game 1 and they were
Yeah.
just forced to tie.
Yeah.
And this is completely me pulling things out of the air.
Yeah,
it
sure,
might
it's
be it might be so wrong, but I think that in general they just want to have fun playing the card games there, and so they're playing out
We
more.
hate
interest-
fun.
Yeah, we hate fun here. We just want to win,
I
and
know it's my competitive mindset.
and so we will try out the new decks because Bandai kind of pushes decks onto us.
For
right?
sure they do.
No question.
And
What?
so I think Japan will be like, I like that Digimon. This deck is being pushed. I'm gonna play that, and a lot of people play it, and then it'll see some tops because it's smaller environment, best of ones. Whereas here, we put every deck they give us through the grindstone, and we see what comes out the strongest, and then that's what's played.
I think that it happens in every meta that you establish certain norms, and sometimes those can propagate long past the point where they're necessary. I think that the reality is most of us could go back to BT6 right now, and for me especially, I would play BT6 pretty differently from how I played it at the time. I think BT7, we would say especially, we kind of undervalued Blue Hybrid for most of BT7 and BT8.
I don't know about BT7. I don't think Blue Hybrid.
BT8 was a bigger.
At the start of BT8, a lot of people
rushed
moved
to the
on.
new decks.
Yeah, exactly,
And
that
that was
happens
wrong.
a lot.
DNA smushing together.
Well, look at now. Beelzemon X got one little tiny hit. I mean, it wasn't a tiny hit. It was impactful, but the deck is still good.
Yeah.
But everyone's off it.
So do you
People
think that we
lose at
should
this
be?
point.
Do you think we should go back to it and like?
Well,
mess around?
I look at BT7, right, where Blue
Yeah.
Hybrid was doing very well. It was dominating.
Yeah.
And then BT8 came out, and so many people dropped Blue Hybrid. And then it wasn't until EX2 when some people started saying Blue Hybrid's still good. It's still good, and it's still going to win.
It took them several months to even look back and say maybe we should keep trying this.
Yeah, and I think that doesn't happen with enough decks. Like Beelzemon X, every once in a while I'll see it top, but I definitely think if it was the kind of deck that appealed to me, I could show up to locals with it and win, and even do well in a large tournament, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's gonna happen. I hope it doesn't, but I'd also like to see less of it. Shine Greymon just got a hit, and if
You think
people
it
just
still might?
yeah, if people drop it like it's hot because of this one hit, they don't understand where the power of the deck comes from.
I thought for sure we were getting BT12 Marcus hit.
Yeah,
I thought that was it. I thought it
About
was
4
over.
ults of them, I was hoping it got hit.
yeah.
You hate all of the decks that are good that you play. I don't understand you, dude.
He's such a cool card. I like him. He's a cool guy.
But I do think that people drop the old stuff for the new stuff. And I understand it. Whether or not you think it's going to win or not, I love Blue Flare. I've been playing Blue Flare for 5 months. I'm ready to try new decks.
New Dark Animals just came out, and I was like, I happened to pull the alt art of the Mega, and I was just like, maybe I'll start playing this deck. I immediately built it. I didn't like it.
Hey, that's my experience with Shine Greymon.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I built it. I didn't like it, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not going to play the new purple deck, the new hot on the town.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to. But you're right. Like we need to have that willingness to say, what looking forward does not match what I want to play. Maybe I should either stay where I am or sometimes look backwards.
Yeah, and power creep, definitely, it's present in all games, and it gets in the way of that happening. But I think what makes card games special are when you can say, let me pull out these older decks and still perform with them. It doesn't have to be a new deck, because that's what helps evolve the meta as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I really remember getting into the game and looking at a Zulongmon and being like, wow, neat. I like that. And
You're talking
it's like
about the gain of memory for every source list?
Yeah.
Azula, all the sovereigns are cool.
No, sorry, the yellow blue one.
The trash of security to gain 2 mana.
Blinding
That's
Ray on a
BT9,
stick.
right?
BT8.
Oh, BT8.
That's
what
what
I
I
remember
right
when
when
you
I
joined
looked at
the
it, and I
game.
was like, this is a cool card. I like this.
It is a
and
cool
it's like,
card.
no garbage.
Oh,
Don't
it's
like
very
it.
bad, but it's a cool card.
I mean, it was great in pre-release. It was phenomenal.
yes, because they go for a huge value.
Limited's cool.
Limited is. I enjoy it a lot.
I think secretly, I do kind of want us to build Chosen One, Digimon's commander format.
What if we made a cube?
A cube.
I don't know if Digimon is there yet. But
No, I don't think we are. I think it's not going to turn out well. But I'd like to have an awareness of Digimon Commander going forward. I'm not just talking about Commandramon. I want Digimon Commander going forward because I think that there are some interesting ideas there, even if I don't think it's balanced with the current card pool we have, which is wild because we have 14 plus all of the half sets,
4.
plus all of the promos. It's like that's way too many sets for us to not have the ability to have Singleton. Not even in a 100 card deck, in a 50 card deck.
It's because about halfway through they started making it all very archetype focused, and that suffers in a singleton
Hey,
format.
there is a homie at locals who has a Garurumon singleton deck, and you gotta respect it.
You do
You
have
gotta
to respect
respect
it.
it.
But that's going back exactly what I said. The Bandai is never going to forget about Agumon or Gabumon.
Yeah.
But you know who they forget about? Dracmon.
Oh.
How many Dracmons do we have in the game yet?
Think
How
two.
many?
Think
3 at least.
I think 3. Yeah, I think there's there's a starter deck one, the old one.
Yep.
There's
more
the
than-
really good one,
Yep.
and then I think there's a vanilla one.
No, the Hunter's one.
Oh, Hunter Dracmon. That's
It's
why.
more than Kokabuterimon. He got robbed.
I mean, I will say, Gabumon always gets lumped in with Agumon, like it gets a lot of support. It doesn't actually have that insane support. I mean, it has insane support in the sense that when it gets support, it's very good, but it doesn't have the egregious amount that Agumon
because
has.
there's so many Agumon.
Exactly. What do you mean so many? They printed so many Agumon.
There's just so many variants of him. Snow
But-
Agu, Toy Agu, Clear Agu.
You
Even
think those are all,
dismissing those.
You think those are all Agumons? These are not Agumons.
Yeah, you consider Commandramon Agumon.
He is Agumon.
But
No, just because he looks like him, he's not an Agumon
He's
for the purposes
Agumon.
of the
He
game.
says Agumon.
I'm not counting those. I'm counting straight up Agumon. Just
Okay.
Agumon in name.
Okay.
There's still a significant amount more than Gabumon.
There's more than Gabumon, yeah.
Yeah, like by a large margin. And same with War Greymon compared to Metal Garurumon.
I don't know. I think that you're playing the victim here. You're saying, "Oh, poor Gabumon, poor blue players. Not enough support for us."
Dude, I've been playing Gabumon for a long time. Until BT15 comes out, I'm playing a BT1 Gabumon. On play, draw 1. That's its entire effect. It's
Yeah, but
1K.
I like that. I think that's a good card.
Yeah, why don't you wanted to Kaiser nail it out of sources?
I remember back when I started, and I started hard playing rookies and going to draw a card when I played them and being like, and the person I'm playing is like, you don't draw, you didn't digivolve. I'm like, oh, that's worse. I don't
That
like
sucks.
That. Then Gabumon fixes that.
Compare BT1 Gabumon to EX4 Gaussmon that says, when you play a Digimon with blue flare illustration, draw 1. And it sees itself.
Yeah.
So, at worst, it's the same. And at best, it's continually draw every time you play another Digimon.
There are like 13 sets in the future or something.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
He's saying
How
that
do we
it-
not have a better Gabumon than BT1 Gabumon?
Okay,
for
okay,
you?
okay.
Dude, it's Gaussmon.
I disagree because if you let me, I would still be using purple starter deck Gabumon and BT2 Gabumon
But
until they hit both of them. They said those are too good. BT1 and 2 too good.
Yeah,
It
talk
must
about-
be nice having that problem. I'm using BT1 Gabumon because I can't use the purple ones. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Not with that, I'd say.
Not yet.
in the future,
It's
you'll be
gonna
able to.
happen.
But you can't use them in Bond. You still can't use them in Bond.
No, you can't.
Right, and
Until
so
they make a purple bond.
happen.
Oh baby, I can't imagine them making another Bond of friendship.
I can't either. I think that the reality is like it's sort of the same way I say, oh man, I wish we got another Arata Sonata because that card
Or make 'em
has
one.
well exactly, but with that card fundamentally is tied to Cyber Sleuth, and it's like, are they gonna go back and make a second Cyber Sleuth set? I don't think.
I would
so.
hope so. Because
I
there
don't think.
wasn't,
I don't
there
think they
wasn't
will.
a dedicated set. But you know what the truth is? I don't think Digimon does enough dedicated sets to the anime, considering how closely the card game is tied to the anime.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
They've done what EX2 is the only one that's like we're 100% only including things from Tamers and that's it.
Did they only include things from Timers?
In
Well, I mean,
EX2,
I guess they did that because it was just a smaller set in general. Like
Yeah, it's a
we just got an
EX2 set.
adventure set, but they couldn't.
they included Seekers.
Yeah, they
Right.
couldn't confine it only to adventure because it was a bigger set.
Yeah,
I mean,
they probably could have.
They probably could
They
have.
just like chose to be like, oh, this is the new thing. Toss them in there.
well, they have lots going on.
No,
right?
and I'm okay with that in a main set. But you're saying that they would never do another Cyber Sleuth set. I would hope they would do a Cyber Sleuth set if it's a little thing, because people play Cyber Sleuth. People like the game.
Maybe in an EX set we could get it.
'Cause I don't
And to be
consider-
fair, Diaboromon was best during EX1, so
Yeah.
we're an EX deck anyways.
Exactly.
I will also say we don't need a Cyber Sleuth set. They can just
No.
put Cyber Sleuth cards in other sets.
Yeah, I'm okay with them not doing theme sets, but I also think like
You think it would be a cool
it would
addition?
make more sense considering how closely tied the franchise is with the card game.
I don't know if you've played Cyber Sleuth, but I don't know how many cards you can say this is a Cyber Sleuth themed card when it's just a Digimon.
Where's Alphamon turning into
A lady?
blonde girl? Yeah, come on. Give me a Mind Link Digivolve Warp up
But
to Alphamon.
that's-
we don't even have the FemMC in the game yet.
That's what I'm saying is that you could just a lot of Cyber Sleuth being a set is just the tamer cards. The Digimon are too hard to tie to Cyber Sleuth because it's just Digimon. you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
there's gonna be an Agumon, Gabumon, Omnimon line.
EX1 was a Digimon World set. Think about it.
Sure.
because it had Digimon in
It
it.
had Digimon and
That's
Analog
all
Boy.
it took, eh?
You got me. Yeah, they had the one tamer and Machine Dramon.
Yup. There you go.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem with video game sets is because you look at Dawn and Dusk, and a Dawn
Wait,
Dusk.
Dawn Dusk, Digimon?
Yeah, Digimon
Yeah.
Dawn and Dusk.
No,
Like
Pokemon.
we had a Digimon Dawn and Dusk set, but it's not really Dawn and Dusk. They put it in because how do you make a game? How do you make a box themed around a game when there's a tiny bit that's the theme and the rest of it is collect Digimon, and
Yeah.
those Digimon are in almost every other game.
It's everything, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So maybe, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Maybe that should be the EX sets where we like aren't gonna release as many cards, and even if we had to staple them together, if we had a Cyrus the Sleuth plus a Dawn Dusk set, that would be the space for it.
This is maybe not a topic worth going into, but what do you guys think about collabs?
Collabs? Well, I mean, you know that I bought in $50 to $100 of just collab cards or merch while I was in Japan. So I think they're great. I think they're really cool. In truth, in the games I play, I don't like them.
I don't want to see them.
I don't think I. Okay, here's the truth. Did you guys grow up with Mega Man Battle Network?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Okay, I think that is a very close world to Digimon.
Yeah.
And that could be the only realistic.
I don't want to see Mega Man on my Digimon cards.
No.
I'll say it right now.
Could you imagine?
What's his name? LAN? I don't need LAN in my life. Listen, I'm already flipping my Wi-Fi switch. I'm not a LAN network guy.
Yeah, I'm not a big. It's not even a collab issue. It's just I don't see the point.
Yeah, it's wasteful, and ultimately, it's like I know this piece of media exists. I don't want to be playing Mega Man cards. I don't want to be digivolving into fucking Gutsmon.
I do like Gutsman. He's my favorite.
I will say, the naming convention of Mega Man makes it very easy to turn it into Digimon.
And they're all like cyber stuff. They're all like guys that exist only within the cyberspace. But then they have
Megamon.
Then they have tamers from.
I can't
the real
wait to
world
play
and
Omni-Man.
Kind of thing. The Metabots. Oh, get the Metabots.
All right. I think we could take this around for a couple hours. I think this might be a good chance to say welcome and goodbye to the Errata Sonata.
Yeah, call it a night for now.
I think we had a good roundabout of a lot of things, but
some good topics.
For right now, this was Ian.
This is Jeremiah.
And Noah.
All right.
Don't give me that exasperated side.
All right. Night, guys.